Our next author is critically those were words that I was not meant to say. Critically acclaimed novelist who has seen all 9 volumes of his fantasy series, Songs of the Dragon's Kiss, reach #1 on the New York bestsellers, and has had no less than 17 of his works recreated for film and television. Tonight, he is here to read from his newest project. Please welcome Marvin L.L. David.
Greetings, Earthlings! This goddamn. Perfect. Well, hello. How's Gen Con? Great. Well, as you guys know, I've been busily typing away, trying to finish my most recent project. No, it's not the conclusion to Song of the Dragon Kiss. That has been delayed for another 12 years. No, see, as some of you may know, I have recently become a member of the internet, and I've been having a ball, just going to town over there. So I've created a new work that is for and by the internet. It's the only place you can find it, and I think it's pretty exciting. So what I'm going to do now, if you'll allow me, is I'm going to read from my most recent work. In the lands of the Evermore dynasty, His Grace King Rudmer took pleasure in enacting the long-forgotten tradition of personally deflowering peasant girls and nobles alike upon their wedding night. None would dare intervene in this act because that would mean certain death. Some of the young women would accept their duty and allow their king his way, perhaps even feigning enjoyment. This only seemed to encourage His Grace to become more forceful, for it was the tears of the woman he seemed to crave more than their sex. Just as these newlywed couples were brutalized by King Rudmer, were my senses abused as I entered the tailor's shop. Grotesque monstrosities of ill-worked wool and synthetic blends hung from hangers like dead men feeding crows. The dark, sunken eyes of the tailors met mine own as he spoke some greeting in a guttural abortion of the English language. I sifted through the rags he presented and did my best to hide my displeasure. Unflattering color patterns, horizontal stripes seemed to adorn every inch of the walls as they seemed to close around me. I fled. I pray I may never again be in the presence of such a depressing display as those who suggested I patronize this establishment must pray that our paths may never again cross, for that day would bring a sarcastic "thanks for the advice" from this man's supple lips. Brad's Big and Tall Suits and More, 1.5 stars. It's so much fun. I don't know if you guys have heard about this Yelp. You can just go in there and you can say whatever. No editors, no grammar, just paragraphs upon paragraphs of talking down about something somebody else has worked hard on. It's amazing. Here's another. Darkness had descended upon my companion and I as we trekked across the empty plains of central Indiana. This was a darkness deeper than night. This was a darkness of the soul. A darkness that one wears as a shroud, identifying themselves to the world as one who has been forgotten. It was in this darkness alone that we were led to the inn. We never would have otherwise ventured into this decomposing construct that would serve as refuge for we weary travelers on this lonesome journey that had been forced upon us. The innkeeper smiled at us through rotten, yellowed teeth, as if she were enjoying some sadistic joke that we were not privy to. Her clouded eyes locked with mine own as I emptied the contents of my debit card. and I could feel her judgment thick in the air. The source of her amusement became clear, and the humor at our expense was apparent as we found our shelter for the evening, sandwiched between the first floor elevator and ice machine. Slaves must endure the tortures of their masters, and so too did my companion and I suffer at the hands of our host for the evening. The moving picture box seemed more decoration than a functioning form of entertainment, and our bed felt to be chiseled from granite or some similar unforgiving materials. And the towels, I would cherish the opportunity to write of their inadequacies, but there were none to be found in our primitive quarters. As I drove my swollen manhood into the welcoming sex of my companion, it took all of my concentration to complete our union of body and soul. For the constant expulsion of the ice pellets from the neighboring machine shook our room with every action. The elevator's signal of arrival called as a warning as I expelled my spirit upon my companion's porcelain skin. Our lovemaking sent us into a slumber that was eventually able to overcome our horrendous environment, but I woke up with a really sore back. Budget in 0 stars. So on top of Yelp, there's another website called YouTube, where you go on there and you watch stuff people put up. It's usually like little kids doing dumb things, and then you just say super racist stuff in the comments. It's so freeing. The anonymity is just amazing. You guys should try it. Back to the Yelp. I don't always want to be negative. I like to switch it up a little bit, so here's a positive review. OMG, what magic hath touched upon my lips? If I did not know the source of this delicious flavor, I would believe it only to be the warm, moist sex of a water nymph. No other truth could I be convinced of if I had not read the menu for myself and known the true name of this experience to be the jalapeno popper. Satisfaction ran through my body from head to stomach to my erect member, as my bosomy serving wenches provided me with my third helping of chicken carcass slathered in spice sauce. As the spiced meats grease-soaked my bearded face, a never-ending fountain of the purest spirits kept my chalice full as I did my best to test the limits of its source. Had the gods not named this liquid themselves, I would have guessed it to be their own blood. But the wenches assured me it was known to man as Miller Lite. I feared these beautiful women had led me to a false paradise, as the sirens would lead sailors to their deaths. Could the euphoria I was experiencing be real? Surely this could not last. I did not believe my eyes or ears when I read and was told I could find this identical experience repeated every Tuesday from 2 to 4 p.m. Valhalla does indeed exist, and it resides upon Earth. 5 stars. Hooters. Good night.